Hello everyone, and I'd like to welcome you to this National Engineering Month Kickoff webinar. My name is Erica, and I'm really pleased to be bringing you this information on behalf of the team that manages the National Engineering Month campaign in Ontario. We are right now on the 1st of March. It feels like it came up very quickly, but we've been planning for months and months. And finally, the opening day of the campaign is here. It's very exciting. My team, Alan and Shivangana, have been working really hard doing all of the frontline coordination and logistics, and we're going to take you through a bit of a tour of the campaign today. Once again, as a reminder, that the National Engineering Month campaign in Ontario is brought to you by a coalition of organizations because we're stronger together, especially when it comes to public outreach and influencing the general public and the youth. We want to thank OACET, that is the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists, Professional Engineers Ontario, also known as PEO, Engineers Without Borders Canada, as well as the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers that are our partners. So, as for the last few weeks, if you're an event organizer for National Engineering Month Ontario, you already know that we've been taking you through some tools and some tips and some guidelines and some support to put on the best possible outreach event that you can. We went through how to measure event effectiveness, that is using scorecards and surveys. So we have the data to back up that we're having the impact that we want. How to amplify your event using media, both traditional and this new social media thing that some people are really into. Also talking about how to manage volunteers. That was one of the biggest items that we got asked for input on. So we created a brand new presentation all about how to manage volunteers because they are so valuable. The things you can do when you've got a great team of volunteers are really quite extraordinary, as this whole campaign exemplifies, really. And then about how to use use certain strategies to promote diversity in your outreach event. So that was, again, a new thing that we did, and we ran a really, I think it was a very interesting webinar with a guest speaker who has been studying the conditions under which people underperform in situations where they are underrepresented, and it's presumed that they're not going to do a good job. They actually live down to that ability, and what we can do about that, because that definitely has application for us in promoting the engineering and technology careers to people who have not traditionally been well represented in those careers. For example, women, for example, visible minorities. So some really great tangible, easy to implement practical suggestions to make your event more diversity friendly. So today we're launching the campaign officially. Like I said, this is going to be a relatively short webinar, not sort of on the longer end, probably 25 to 30 minutes. And if you are interested, you can view replays of all of the webinars I just described on our website. Here's the link here. And by the way, we will give you a copy of these slides so you can click back and look at all of the links that we're presenting to you. So first of all, hopefully we all know by now that March is National Engineering Month. We want to get that out into the public eye, get people understanding more about what engineering and engineering technology are all about. And the message this year, the theme of the whole campaign from coast to coast, is there is a place for you. So that's aimed chiefly at young people. We want to encourage them to see themselves as having the option to belong in a career with engineering and engineering technology. We want them to feel welcomed, like we're sort of a big brother or big sister saying, come on in, welcome to the family sort of thing. And if you're into the social media thing, you can just look at hashtag NEM2016 to see what's going on. That is the theme all across Canada. Last year it was Make a World of Difference, which we think did a great job of expressing the way that engineering and technology really serve society and make an impact on the daily lived experience of billions of people around the world. There's really no avoiding the influence of them. Now talking about there is a place for you, we're shifting gears a little bit to speak more about the inclusivity piece and about the benefits of having diverse perspectives coming into the profession. We don't just want the same people who have the same strengths and the same sort of ideas. We want to attack these very complex problems that we have to deal with in the 21st century from a multidisciplinary perspective, really looking at how we can innovate, bring unexpected approaches, look at things that are maybe disrupting the old ways of doing things and being open to those, being flexible, being innovative, being teamwork based, so that we get the best of everyone's insights going into these tough challenges. So that's a little bit of the why behind There Is a Place for You, and how we want to really embrace diversity and make sure that we're promoting it and encouraging it. So with your involvement, you being all of our community, all of our event organizers who are helping make these events come to life all across the province throughout the month of March, we want to be strategic and intelligent in the way we do our outreach. We don't just want to show up and say any old thing. We want to make sure that the audiences that we're impacting, that we're reaching, really get a chance to take away a message that we are sculpting for them, that we are being very purposeful in the messages that we convey. And we want to use consistent messages. We're giving tons of support to our volunteers. We see this as a way to really transform public perception of engineering and engineering technology, and to inspire the next generation. This is very important. We see this as a talent pipeline exercise. It's an investment in our future. It's preparing our kids to solve the biggest challenges that they're going to be grappling with in the next 50 to 100 years. Things like energy and climate change and affordable housing, infrastructure, cybersecurity, all kinds of things that maybe we didn't have the tools or didn't have the opportunity to work on necessarily. So it's very much we're looking at it as an investment, not just a fun time, although it is fun. I'm sure you'll agree that it's, there's really nothing like going and speaking in front of a group of people to re-energize you about what it is that you're doing in your career, whether you're a student or a recently graduated professional or an experienced professional. It really does bring us all together. We believe in the power of grassroots outreach. We know that online stuff is fantastic. You can build a great website that's got lots of cool apps, or, a game that might mesmerize people for a long time, but there's really something magical that happens when we get people in the same room together, and you get to see you get to see their pupils dilate when they see something cool. You get to see that light that comes into their face when they're like, wow, that's really neat. And I could do that. I get it. I feel inspired and empowered. And sort of the reverse of maybe how they had felt previously around technical matters. Maybe they felt maybe a little bit intimidated or excluded, or wow, that's complicated, I don't really get it. We want to use simple, accessible language and give them the understanding that, you can contribute to this profession, and you can understand these things too. You can come play in our pool. So besides the networking events and the conference type events that we hold to talk amongst ourselves, to create community and to create conversation, we're also very purposefully facing outward toward youth and toward the general public. So on that note, just looking back at 2015, so this is last year's National Engineering Month campaign, we managed to reach about 30,000 people through a total of 270-ish, somewhere between 275 and 280 events across Ontario. So that's really amazing. These are in-person events. These are things that happen in church basements and classrooms and community centers and libraries. These are things that are happening, whether they're hands-on activities or design challenges, other types of experiments, bridge building competitions. There are really all kinds of things going on to help the young people. Mall displays, I remember those as well. All kinds of things to help people really understand what engineering and technology are about. So, and just to note that we were able to really grow the campaign from its size in 2014. We're at about 187, and the year before that we were down in around 140. So it's through the power of volunteers and the power of those grassroots organizers who come on board. They care about what they're doing. We have some staff who organize events. Some of them are run by people who are getting paid as part of their job, but the vast majority of what we're doing is being run by volunteers, and we think that makes it quite extraordinary. They're doing this for the love of reaching out to the community and sharing what they're passionate about and what they love about their jobs. So just over half, just a 51%, were grades 1 to 8. We think early intervention is very important because by the time we get into high school, people may have chosen the prerequisites that will either determine whether they are eligible to go on and study engineering or engineering technology, referring to this as college and university. Certainly it's important to speak to those students as well at the high school and post-secondary level, but we do focus the majority of our energy on that younger demographic because we know that at that point, they've still got a lot of wonder and a lot of possibility. They maybe haven't quite started to shut down and say, oh, I can't do that or that's too hard. They're still susceptible to the inspiration. And then as you can see, we also involve, we have professional events and events that face the general public. So the large majority of what we're doing is outward facing, although we do have some events where people, professionals, for example, get together and chat with each other about technical subjects or about the future of the profession. Mostly we're facing outwards toward youth and the general public. We also did some online outreach, so those are through our social media and our website. Managed to hit over 731 people throughout the month of March, which is fantastic. We have people visiting our blog and tweeting at us and doing all sorts of stuff online. And again, that's steadily up over the previous 2 years, so we were really pleased about that. We also do some of our outreach through traditional print media outlets. Those are magazines. We did a supplement in a newspaper last year. This year we are not doing that. We've actually switched over to completely digital media, and we're experimenting with radio ads. So if you happen to be in the Greater Toronto area or in the broadcast vicinity of 680 News, listen for us. We are sponsoring the traffic tag. So that was an investment that we made with some of our marketing budget to get the word out about the campaign over the airwaves through the radio. So obviously we couldn't do this without our very generous sponsors who have supported us. Many of them have been on board for several years. We have a few that are new to the campaign. I want to say a special thank you to The Personal, which is our lead presenter for this year. They're a home and auto group insurer, and our partners, again, Professional Engineers Ontario, Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists, the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, and Engineers Without Borders Canada. So we feel that this collective approach that we're taking with our sponsors and with our partners, it's very important that we're all buying into this idea of needing to do some public outreach, of making sure that we have a strong voice and a strong, clear public perception of what it is that we do. And that's pretty tricky because there are a lot of different things that engineers and engineering technicians and technologists make happen in the world. It's not always easy to explain. So that's why we think it's a great opportunity every March to get the word out there. So National Engineering Month merchandise, you may already have some of these in your house or in your arsenal, I guess. Someone on your team is stockpiling the shirts, and we have some branded National Engineering Month merchandise. These Lego blocks are very cool. They are actually a highlighter and a Lego block in one with the National Engineering Month logo on the side. The front of the t-shirt this year, it's a nice bright festive red color, and we've got all of our sponsors on the back, and then on the front we've got the "This is a place for you," our theme for this year, along with a light bulb to symbolize the inspiration and excitement that we're conveying with this year's campaign. So we've got thank you posters that are going out to all of our event organizers. Those are going to get hung up with all of our sponsor logos, so we're giving extra recognition to our sponsors. And note that we also got some really great merchandise donated by our various sponsors. So you can see just a little bit of that here. We've got these "Science is Cool" tattoos. We're wondering if we could maybe even be even more direct than that and maybe have some "Engineering is Cool" tattoos. We think, science and technology are generally fairly well understood. It's the middle piece, the engineering that kind of bridges the science and the real world technology that we want to explore and represent better. So there's some interesting development of our themes there going on as well through the merchandise. You might have already seen our blog. If you haven't, we encourage you to check it out, nemontario.ca/blog. We're going to be posting new stuff all month, and it's going to be some profiles interesting articles we think you might enjoy, some event write-ups. Once those start to happen, it's really fun to watch the photos come in and the media coverage come in, as well as other cool stuff. So definitely, if you still use some kind of bookmarking, or if you have a favorites list somewhere, be sure to add that to it and visit us often on nemontario.ca/blog. You'll see if you go to the Start Here and you hover over the menu here, you'll have a couple of different audiences named. So youth, college students, university students, and professionals. If you go to that, you'll find content that is targeted to you. So that's another place that you can go to get to engage with us on the blog. nemontario.ca/events, arguably the most important part of our entire website, because this is how people find the different events that are going on across the province. So there are numerous events, too many of these little red pins to count, and you probably will want to use these filters to search on perhaps a different theme. You can look by organizer, you can look by date, and then search. You'll find all of the information that you need on the various event listings. So if you are an event organizer, you're welcome to use this link to promote your event, your own listing. You can send people to the website to get information, and you can certainly let us know if you see anything on your event listing that doesn't make sense. We'd be happy to update that for you. We're always working with the most up-to-date information that we can. Other good stuff that you might enjoy, you can see nemontario.ca/engineering-outreach-resources. You'll find all of the forms that you need. There is a photo release form to make sure that you have the written consent of your attendees to take their picture and to publish their pictures. We've got, surveys for your participants to find out what they thought of your event, find out if the message has landed properly. We've got replays of all of the webinars, as I mentioned. This is a very good place to bookmark. You can check that out as well. And we're now going to speak a little bit about the contributions that each of our partner organizations are making. OSPE, or the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers, is putting on the National Engineering Month Kickoff event. It's going on at the CN Tower. So keep your eye on the skies tonight. If you can see it through all the snow, you'll see that it is lit up purple, which is the official color of engineering. And the way that it's going to be lit up is very special, very interesting. A whole bunch of Rube Goldberg machines, which are sort of crazy, unnecessarily elaborate contraptions, will all be put together. They sort of have a chain reaction from one machine to another, and this is put on in collaboration with the Ontario Engineering Student Societies, across Ontario. So that's going to be a really neat event. If you're able to make it in person, we encourage you to check it out. If not, there will be photos, and there should be a video even of everything that goes on. So that's how we're getting things kicked off tonight. OSPE is actually putting on an additional 5 events after that as well. We'll call those our flagship events that go on all across Ontario. Next, I want to talk about our partners, specifically Professional Engineers Ontario. They have some really, really experienced organizers who have been doing what they're doing for a very long time. For example, we've got PEO Etobicoke. They host a design competition. They call it Engineering Idol, just to make it glamorous, make it fun, make the kids, get excited about it the way that they do about celebrities and call in reality TV shows, that kind of thing. We think that's a really brilliant theme. So that's Etobicoke that does that. And then there's the Engineering Innovations Forum that's actually going on tomorrow. So I thought I'd give that a quick shout out. That's actually put on by a coalition of organizations, but it's PEO members right at the front end of it. So there's too many for me to go into detail about every single one, but I want to give a heartfelt thanks to all of these PEO chapters who are putting on their events. They work really hard to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that people have a good experience. Often they're putting on more than one event with the small amount of financial support that we're able to provide for them. They're finding really creative ways to make their money go further and to make a bigger splash with the same amount of cash. So good on everybody. Thank you very much for for all that you do and all the hard work all the PEO chapters are showing. OSET as well, no slouch, also contributing many events. There's a specific vehicle that OSET has been using for the last 3 years that has really allowed them to grow their presence. Back in 2012, 2013, there were about 10 events that they were putting on every year. This year, they're up. They'll be close to the 45 to 48 event mark. We're still finalizing all of the details on which events are a go and which aren't. But a large part of this success is due to engaging college students to run events using something called the College Challenge. So we put out a challenge basically to the students to say, hey, we want you to get involved. We want you to organize events as part of National Engineering Month. You need to work with your local OSET chapter, and you can win a cash prize and some free OSET student memberships. So it was pretty slow the first year. We had a few great teams come out and represent, and it grew a little bit more last year, and this year it's grown to 14 different teams representing 9 of the colleges across Ontario. So we're super proud of everything that the event organizers have been able to accomplish. They are punching well above their weight as far as their maturity, their experience, rather, I should say. They're very mature beyond their age and their life experience. They're pulling off some really extraordinary things. And just one example would be the highest ranked team from last year was the Multidisciplinary Science for a Better Society event that was held at Centennial College. So they just did a terrific job. I think if you look at this College Challenge link here, you'll see a photo of them accepting their big ceremonial check from the president of OSET. They just did a terrific job with telling a story of how engineering and technology work together, and all of the different disciplines factor in to solve big, important problems. I had the good fortune to be invited to that one. We had some great speakers on the main stage here, and then they also had a whole sort of trade show style booth, room full of exhibits that people could look at. So that was an excellent, excellent job on the part of those College Challenge participants. The chapters of OSET are doing an excellent job contributing as well. You can see down the left-hand side here, these are all the chapters whose volunteers are putting on events. And then over here on the right-hand side, these are the chapters that are supporting National Engineering Month by working with students through the College Challenge. So thank you to all the members of the OSET organizing community. We know that just a few short years ago, so many of you were not doing this. We hope we've got you hooked. We hope that you can see what a great time this is for students. They're really developing leadership skills, project management skills, the ability to put together an event. It's a lot of moving parts, and it's challenging in a way that math and chemistry equations are not. That said, we feel that it's a really great way to hone some real-world experience and to make yourself eventually more valuable in the workplace. It really is an excellent thing to put on your resume that you've been a part of this outreach and developed those messages and been a thought leader. And you also, the students get a lot of great networking because they're working directly with the professional volunteers of the OSET chapters. And conversely, for the professionals, it's a great deal because they get to see who their future recruits are going to be. They get to create a deeper relationship with the colleges and inspire and encourage the next generation as well. So the participating colleges through the College Challenge, Conestoga has been on board with us for the last 3 years. Very strong showing, really great job. And then we've got Centennial. They were the top-ranked team, as I said, last year, and they've responded by entering 3 teams this year. It was an excellent job, and interesting to see how that effect works. George Brown put together a terrific video last year, and they're on board again. They're organizing 2 events. Humber is a first-time participant. Loyalist, which is in Quinte chapter in Belleville, they always do a great job. Very happy to see them on board again this year, even though they lost one of their more experienced people last year because of a graduation. Seneca is again a very strong contender, and they've got 2 events on board. Sheridan as well. Again, they have two events. and St. Lawrence is on board for the first time, the college in Kingston. So congratulations to all of the colleges. We know this is new for you, but you're absolutely knocking it out of the park. We're always impressed to see what our college challenge participants get up to, and we're right now rounding up judges that will be able to go out to all of your events and capture all the great things that you're doing and report back to us, so we can choose this year's winner. We also need to talk about Engineers Without Borders. They bring a really fresh perspective to the engineering profession, looking at it as, framing things in a global social context as well as just a technical concept, thinking about the why of engineering and where we all need to be going with our professional aspirations, and not just can we build it, but should we build it? Asking those deep questions and tackling those really complex problems is kind of the specialty of the EWB chapters. Water for the World is a tried and tested and much loved workshop that's been going on for at least 10 years. And this year they are going to reach close to 100 classes of grade 5 to 9 students in the GTA and across Canada. So this is just a wonderful example of what happens when you can broaden out the idea, the sort of perception of what engineering is about. It's not just about water filters, it's also about the health of a community. And these factors are all sort of interrelated with the economies of these nations around the world, and the developing world and the first world, and how that plays out as far as the literacy rate and many of the other factors. It's a really well-designed workshop, I have to say, and it was one of the first things that I did when I got involved with Engineers Without Borders. So you facilitate one workshop, and you often stick around and get involved much more deeply. So a shout out to our Engineers Without Borders chapters across Ontario, doing an excellent job, as always, the Toronto Professional chapter with their Water for the World workshops. McMaster's putting on a big global engineering conference, which we're really looking forward to. Western U of Ottawa, Queen's, all very strong, multiple events that they're holding to reach out to the professionals and the general public. And Carleton as well, I believe, is putting on a conference this year. So way to go, EWB chapters, way to challenge things and reach out in your communities. Now, finally, I think this is maybe one of the most exciting things about the journey we've been on over the last 3 years, is that we're no longer just getting organizers coming from sort of within the 4 partner organizations. We're also getting people from, that are organizing and promoting engineering or STEM or engineering technology in their own ways. They're coming on board to join our campaign, and this is really exciting for us. Things like Go Code Girl, which teaches young women to use computers and to create their own code from scratch, learning how to basically take technology into their own hands. The French Education Services Committee, reaching out to bilingual children. I believe they do a bridge building competition. And then there is the University of Waterloo NSOC. They've got tons of things planned. I know they're going to do something for Pi Day on March 14th. It's wonderful to see what they might get up to. Mohawk College, there's actually a staff member who took it upon himself to put together some events for National Engineering Month. We love working with WISE groups, outreach groups. Guelph, U of T, and Spire is really a homegrown success story. They're going to reach, I believe, 91 different Girl Guide, Brownie, Ranger, Pathfinder, and Boy Scout groups across Ontario this National Engineering Month. They're doing a great new workshop called Crazy Contraptions. And then some discipline societies like IEEE, Carleton is on board. So besides these organizations, there are many more outstanding individuals, some of them community leaders, some of them teachers, some of them just active participants in a community that choose to make something happen. We really salute them, because that's where a lot of the growth has come, because they're starting to contribute to our campaign and really give it a momentum that is just unprecedented, and it's so wonderful to see. So one thing that we've done to sort of spark some out of the box thinking in the last couple of years is put aside a separate pot of funding that we call innovation funding. And there are certain criteria that you need to meet. And basically it's all about doing something new. It's all about taking a risk, taking a challenge. You're not allowed to just reboot the same thing that you did last year. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but we do want to encourage experimentation and thinking outside the box as far as our outreach goes, because that's the way we're going to win over new audiences, and we're going to start to really meet people where they are and make sure that we're really dialed in, sending the right messages, capturing the right audiences. And so this year we put out the call and said, okay, if you had, if money were no object, if you could get as much money as you wanted, we don't set a cap on the funds that we're offering. We just say, what would you do if money and time were no object? What would you do? Dream as big as you can, and we'll let you know if we can fund it or not. So here are some of the innovations that we did choose to fund this year. We have a new contributor called Trek Education on board this year. They're a STEM organization, and they're going to do a festival of experiential activities. Basically, it's a whole day. They're going to reach over 200 kids, teaching them all about innovation through renewable energy. That's a very hot topic right now. Great for the young people to get exposed to that, get excited, and see that engineering and engineering technology are a great way to get involved with that if you want to look at solving one of the bigger problems facing us right now. There is a conference on ancestral engineering that's being put on by the Grove Community School, which is an Indigenous-focused school. They're going to talk to some Indigenous engineering grads who were part of the Aboriginal Access to Engineering program, and get their perspectives. What happened? How does it relate to their identity as First Nations people, as engineers? And really, this is an example of how we're opening up to a brand new audience, and we're really promoting that diversity. We do want to see better representation of our Indigenous people in our engineering profession. It's only going to make us stronger to have those additional perspectives, as well as it just being, the fair thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So we're very excited to see how that event turns out. This was a really cool thing. There's a startup. They're called Last Hour Games. They've put together a game called Grid City, which is actually a video game that you play all about the power grid, and it shows all of the different players and all of the things that go into keeping our lights on. And it's something that maybe not a lot of people are aware of, but there's mechanical engineering, there's electrical engineering, there's tons of technology and infrastructure and things that need to be maintained in order for us to enjoy the standard of living that we have with reliable power. And then it's also a great way for the young people that attend their demo to see what it's like to work in a technology startup. How about that programming? How about the process of developing a video game and testing it out with customers and figuring out what works and debugging the code and putting together the graphics? I mean, that is engineering and technology as well. So we sort of have this dual level to the learning going on through this particular innovation funded project. So we're very excited about that one. And finally, this is maybe my favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite because there's so much cool stuff going on this year. But we had 2 high school students write to us to say, we just don't feel like we have enough information to make good decisions about where we're going to study post-secondary. So we created a social enterprise. We created an organization called Inspire Gen, and we are now taking it into our own hands to educate ourselves about engineering and technology workplaces. Could you please recruit some interested companies for us to visit, please? So amazing, just kind of blew us away in a way, because we sometimes think of young people as needing us to show them things or to give them content or to fill up their imaginations. But this was a great reminder that, the young people of today, they're so ambitious, they're so savvy, they really are able to make things happen for themselves. They show initiative, and they know how to use technology and how to self-organize in a way that's really very impressive. So I just got a note from them today saying that they're going to start a series of job shadowing visits for high school students that they're recruiting. They're going to start with a sort of a speed dating event that's going to help the students choose the place that they want to visit or the companies that they want to check out. So great examples of innovative things that we know of. No one's done these exact things before, so we're very happy to have these people on board. And I also want to give a shout out to one of our organizers, Conestoga College. They wrote to us asking for quite a large sum of money, and even though we weren't able to give them the entire sum of money, they were still able to make a go of their event, and it's going to be a fantastic engineering and technology festival. It's a 4-day event that they're doing. So it just goes to show you, you know, the innovation, the willingness to experiment that's going on out there. The great ideas are really, really impressive and incredible. So we look forward to harvesting all of the learnings from these innovators and feeding them back into the community to see what we can build on next year. So we know that 2015 was a great year. It was the biggest celebration so far. 2016 is going to be even bigger. We encourage you to keep tabs on nemontario.ca. You can check out the events listings. You can check out the blog. You can check out graphics and shareables, as well as, you know, replays of all the webinars and any forms and things that you might need. And you can follow us online. So we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Depending on who you are and which of those platforms you prefer, meet us there, and we will have some cool stuff for you to look at and to share back and forth, we promise. So just a couple more things I want to remind you of. National Engineering Month has been getting more and more media attention, some of them from sort of large, you know, provincial, regional, national news media even, because Engineers Canada is working to help us promote it at the national level, right down to, you know, local papers and local blogs and you know, online presences of that sort. So you can see the Chatham Daily News, CBC News Windsor, Sarnia Journal, etc. These are all of the different links from the different events that were happening in 2015. So we will go online and we will search for these, but if you find them, we would appreciate if you send them to us to make sure we don't miss even one, and we will start recycling these back out so everybody can see the tremendous coverage. We just couldn't believe it when we started looking for it. I believe we had 5 or 6 different lists like this full of coverage for National Engineering Month. So again, all the credit goes right back to the volunteers. They're doing a fantastic job of spreading the word and making sure that everybody knows about National Engineering Month and all of the inspiration that we're delivering to youth and the general public across the province. So the last thing that I want to say is that really, as I mentioned, we do have some staff members who work on National Engineering Month. We think they're fantastic. We love that they pour their energy and their time into making National Engineering Month great. However, the majority of the people that are making National Engineering Month happen are volunteers. And we appreciate the fact that you care enough to tell your stories, to share your experiences with the next generation, to raise awareness of what it is that we're doing and what we're trying to do as an engineering and technology profession. It just simply, we could not deliver the campaign that we have done. We would not be able to have built the momentum that we have without all of your dedication and hard work. So a very heartfelt thank you from us and a very happy NEM to all of you. Enjoy yourselves, ask lots of questions, get out there, make things happen, tell your stories, try things out, let us know how it goes. We would love to see you online. NEM 2016 is the hashtag, as well as I mentioned. Please do tweet at us, Facebook at us, send us questions or comments or feedback or anything that you've got. We love to hear from our organizers. We can't be everywhere at once, but you know, when you give us the report, it's like we're there, and it's really amazing to see the bigger picture come together. So thank you again for taking the time to be with us on this webinar. Hope you've enjoyed it, and hope you have a terrific National Engineering Month.